Relative positioning moves an element from its normal position but without affecting other elements. It also leaves a space in the element's original location. I've got open index.html in the Pacific Highway case study, and I've turned on Live View. What I want to do is to move this word Pacific so that it's slightly above and to the right, and I'm going to do that using relative positioning. So first let's close the Files panel, select highway.css in the sources pane of the CSS designer, and I can see from here that I've got a style rule for h1 and then another one for WF active h1 span. That WF active class applies the style rule once the web font has been downloaded. I want the style rule to affect this word whether or not the fonts have been downloaded, so I need to create a new style rule. So I'll select h1, add the new selector after that, so it will be h1 space span. I'm using span because a span element is wrapped around this word. So in the layout section, need to scroll down to find position, change position to relative, and then if I start scrubbing to the left with top, you can see that that word is beginning to move and nothing else is being affected, and in fact it's beginning to disappear. So what I need to do is to select the h1 rule, and I need to add some padding to the top of the heading 1 so that that's brought back my Pacific span into view. Then I can go back to h1 span. I can move it maybe a little bit further up, and then I can change the left offset and move it so that it's slightly over the top of Coastal Highway, and maybe move it down a little bit. There we go. And all that has been done without affecting the surrounding elements, and in fact there's still a space there where Pacific originally was, because this element here, the h1 element, is centered. If that space for Pacific weren't still there, the words Coastal Highway would have been repositioned. So to move this element, all I did was to set its position to relative and change its top and left offsets. Because it moved up and it didn't affect any of the other elements, I had to add extra padding to the top of the level 1 heading. This has been a simple example of moving an element relative to its normal position using relative positioning. However, the most common use of relative positioning is to generate the containing block for a nested element that you want to position absolutely. I'll show you how to do that in a separate lesson.